Most people destroy their own power long before the world ever touches them, not because they are weak, but because they are loud. They explain too much. They reveal too early. They beg for understanding, validation, fairness, love, opportunity. And the moment you beg, even subtly, you give away leverage. Power does not announce itself. Power observes. Power waits. Power lets others expose their intentions while it remains unreadable. Mystery is not silence for the sake of silence. Mystery is restraint. It is the discipline to not leak your inner world into a system that would weaponize it against you. Human psychology is simple at its core. People value what they cannot fully access. They respect what they cannot control. They fear what they cannot predict. The more transparent you are, the easier you are to manage. The more mysterious you are, the more attention you command without asking for it. The world conditions you to overshare, to explain your feelings, to justify your decisions, to narrate your struggles. This conditioning is sold as authenticity, but it often functions as self-sabotage. When you expose your doubts, fears, and plans prematurely, you invite interference. People do not just listen, they adjust their behavior around your weaknesses. Begging rarely looks like begging. It looks like over-explaining. It looks like seeking reassurance. It looks like chasing closure. It looks like proving your worth to people who already decided how they will treat you. Every one of these behaviors lowers perceived value. The moment you need someone to validate you, they own a piece of you. The moment you need an outcome desperately, you negotiate against yourself. Desperation is louder than words. Even when you hide it behind politeness, it leaks through tone, timing, and posture. Mysterious people are not powerful because they are secretive. They are powerful because they are self-contained. Their sense of worth does not depend on immediate feedback. They do not rush to fill silence. They do not rush to correct assumptions. They allow others to reveal themselves first. Silence creates asymmetry. When you say less, others say more. When others say more, they give information. Information is leverage. The person who speaks the least often controls the direction of the interaction without appearing to. The world breaks those who try to be understood by everyone. Understanding is not required for respect. Results are. Boundaries are. Consistency is. When you chase understanding, you expose your inner logic to people who may not have your best interests at heart. Being mysterious does not mean being fake. It means being selective. Selective with access, selective with emotion, selective with explanation. You do not owe everyone clarity. You owe yourself protection. People test what they can access. When they know your fears, they press on them. When they know your goals, they manipulate timing. When they know your insecurities, they exploit them, sometimes unconsciously. Mystery closes these doors. The Machiavellian understands this instinctively. Reveal strength slowly. Reveal intention only when execution is already in motion. Let outcomes speak. Let presence do the work words are too weak to do. Never beg, not for love, not for respect, not for opportunity. Begging signals that you believe you have no alternatives. And in a competitive world, having no alternatives is the most dangerous position you can occupy. Power grows the moment you become willing to walk away without drama, no speeches, no ultimatums, no emotional monologues, just absence. Absence is a language the world understands immediately. Most people fear being misunderstood more than being disrespected. This fear traps them. They tolerate poor treatment because they hope explanation will fix it. It rarely does. Behavior changes when incentives change, not when emotions are clarified. Mysterious individuals allow misunderstanding to exist. They know that clarity given to the wrong person becomes a liability. They let time filter who deserves access to their inner world. There is tension and restraint. When people cannot read you, they project. They fill the gaps with assumptions, curiosity, sometimes fear. This projection gives you information about them while revealing nothing about you. The world is full of people who talk themselves into powerlessness. They announce plans before they act. They share struggles before they overcome them. They vent emotions that should be processed privately. Each time, they lower their own perceived authority. Authority is quiet. It does not rush to be liked. It does not seek permission. It does not beg to be chosen. It assumes choice and adjusts only when reality proves otherwise. Never beg also means never chase. Chasing puts you in a reactive position. It frames the other party as the prize. Power flips when you become the one who evaluates, not the one who convinces. This applies everywhere: relationships, business, social hierarchies, negotiations. The one who needs the outcome less controls the pace. Pace control is power. Being mysterious requires emotional discipline. You still feel everything. You simply decide when and where expression is appropriate. Not every emotion deserves airtime. Not every thought deserves a voice. The world confuses emotional expression with honesty. They are not the same. Honesty is alignment between values and action. Expression is just release. Ruthless clarity knows the difference. When you stop begging, people react. Some feel threatened, some feel confused, some feel challenged. These reactions are useful. They reveal who benefited from your old openness. Expect resistance. When you withdraw access, those who were consuming it will protest. They will call you cold, changed, arrogant. Do not argue. Labels are the last weapon of lost leverage. Mysterious power is built slowly. It is not flashy. It does not perform. It accumulates through consistency and restraint. Over time, people adjust their behavior around you. They speak more carefully. They offer better terms. They test less. Not because you demanded it, but because uncertainty forces respect. Never beg also means never plead with the universe. You do not wait to be saved. You do not hope circumstances will soften. You build leverage so outcomes have no choice but to adjust. The Machiavellian path is not about cruelty. It is about self-sovereignty. You decide who gets access. You decide when to reveal. You decide when to act. Mystery protects your future self from your present emotions. It prevents you from trading long-term power for short-term relief. And once you experience the shift, once you see how differently the world treats someone who is calm, unreadable, and unwilling to beg, you understand why power has always favored the silent. This is only the first layer. Once you internalize restraint, the world starts to feel different, not softer, clearer. You begin to notice how often people try to pull reactions out of you, a question framed to extract reassurance, a comment designed to provoke explanation, a silence meant to make you uncomfortable enough to fill it. These are not accidents, they are probes. The mysterious do not react to probes, they log them. Powerful people understand that most interactions are not about information, but about control. Whoever dictates the emotional tone usually dictates the outcome. When you stay calm and unreadable, you deny others that control. They may smile, they may joke, they may escalate. None of it matters if your internal state stays neutral. Never beg also means never rush to repair discomfort. Discomfort is informative. When tension appears, most people panic and smooth it over. They apologize unnecessarily. They clarify. They overcompensate. In doing so, they lower their status. The mysterious allow tension to exist. They observe how others respond to it. The world reveals itself under pressure. Who becomes aggressive? Who becomes submissive? Who becomes manipulative? Who becomes honest? These patterns are invisible when everything is comfortable. Restraint lets you see them. There is a difference between being closed and being centered. Closed people are defensive. Centered people are selective. Defensive energy feels brittle. Selective energy feels controlled. The goal is not to shut everyone out, but to open slowly, deliberately, and only when behavior earns it. When you stop begging, you stop negotiating against yourself. You stop offering discounts on your time, energy, and attention. You stop explaining why your standards exist. Standards that require explanation are not standards. They are requests. The Machiavellian understands that respect is often granted before understanding. People follow confidence long before they understand the logic behind it. This is why leaders speak in fewer words than followers. Words dilute authority when used excessively. Mystery also protects you from emotional manipulation. When people cannot read your triggers, they cannot easily press them. When they do not know what you fear losing, they cannot threaten you subtly. When they do not know what you want most, they cannot dangle it. You begin to value delayed expression. You feel anger, but you do not release it immediately. You feel desire, but you do not confess it impulsively. You feel disappointment, but you do not collapse into it publicly. This delay is not suppression, it is choice. Choice is power. The world often mistakes composure for indifference. Let it. Indifference is threatening to systems that rely on emotional extraction. When you are no longer easily moved, you become difficult to control. As your presence changes, so do your relationships. Some people drift away. They were connected to your openness, not to you. Others lean in carefully. They sense weight. They sense boundaries. They sense that access now has a cost. You do not need to announce this change. Announcements are insecurity in disguise. Behavior is enough. The world recalibrates silently. Being mysterious does not mean being inactive. In fact, it requires more internal work than constant expression. You must process emotions privately. You must think before speaking. You must act without applause. This is why few people sustain it. It is demanding. Never beg also means never chase explanations from people who have already shown you who they are. Closure is often a disguised request for validation. Power comes from accepting information without needing emotional completion. When you stop begging for clarity, life gives you patterns instead. Patterns are more honest than words. There is a point where your silence becomes louder than any argument you could have made. When you do not react, others feel the absence of leverage. They either adjust respectfully or escalate desperately. Both outcomes reveal everything you need to know. The mysterious do not need to threaten. They do not need to posture. Their calm suggests options. Options suggest leverage. Leverage suggests power. Never beg also applies internally. Do not beg yourself to be disciplined. Decide. Do not beg yourself to be confident. Act. Internal begging looks like procrastination, self-negotiation, and repeated second chances. Ruthless self-respect eliminates this. You stop explaining your boundaries to yourself. You enforce them. This internal alignment strengthens external presence. Over time, something subtle happens. You become harder to provoke, harder to rush, harder to manipulate. This is not numbness. It is stability. The world begins to treat you like someone who cannot be pushed easily. Negotiations change. Conversations shorten. Disrespect becomes rare, not because people became better, but because the cost increased. Mystery creates gravity. People lean in. They listen more closely. They assume depth. Often, depth is there. But even when it isn't, perception does the work. Perception shapes behavior faster than truth ever could. Never beg, and you free yourself from emotional dependence. Be mysterious, and you protect your leverage. Be powerful, and you stop needing to prove anything. At this level, you understand that power is not taken in moments of anger, but accumulated in moments of restraint. The Machiavellian path is quiet. It does not beg for followers. It does not demand recognition. It waits, and the world eventually adjusts itself around those who refuse to kneel.